Seneca once said, we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. And when it comes to relationships, this couldn't be more accurate. Many of us find ourselves stuck in cycles of self-doubt, chasing unrequited love, and questioning our worth. But what if you could completely shift the dynamic? Imagine becoming the kind of man who naturally attracts the woman of his dreams, not by chasing, but by embodying powerful psychological principles. Today on Win Stoic, we're diving into 7 game-changing strategies that can make any woman deeply drawn to you. But first, let me ask you, what do you think holds most people back from achieving this kind of connection? Share your thoughts in the comments, and let's jump in. Rule number 1, don't give your attention away for free. In today's fast-paced world, standing out isn't about chasing someone's attention. It's about becoming the kind of man they can't resist being drawn to. One of the most powerful lessons in relationships is recognizing that your attention is a valuable currency. It shouldn't be given away freely. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus wisely put it, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. By mastering your reactions and prioritizing yourself, you naturally command respect and admiration, which, in turn, draws people toward you. This isn't about playing games, it's about self-respect. Picture yourself as a man on a mission, an entrepreneur, an artist, an athlete, someone deeply committed to growth and success. Like any high-powered professional, your time should be scarce because you're busy building your empire. Just as people respect a successful CEO's limited availability, women will come to see your attention as something worth earning. After all, what is Stoicism if not the practice of discipline and emotional resilience? By not always being available, you increase your value, not through mind games, but through genuine purpose. Master the art of delayed gratification. In today's world of instant gratification, texts, notifications, and constant digital noise, most people are too available. But Stoicism teaches patience, control, and the power of delayed gratification. When you step back and don't immediately respond to every message, you send a quiet yet powerful message. Your attention isn't on demand, it's something that must be earned. Think of Marcus Aurelius, who famously said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be one." Your time is valuable because you've chosen to make it so. By focusing on your own personal growth, you create an aura of purpose. When a woman realizes that she has to earn your attention, she sees your worth more clearly. And if she doesn't reciprocate, walk away, because true confidence isn't about proving your value, it's about knowing it. The key to attraction: live with purpose. Self-esteem isn't built through empty affirmations, it's demonstrated through your actions. When you dedicate yourself to something greater, a business, a fitness goal, a skill, you automatically raise the value of your time. You're no longer just existing, you're thriving. And when you live this way, people notice. Not because you demand attention, but because you're too focused on your own path to seek validation. That kind of purpose-driven life is magnetic. At the heart of Stoic wisdom is this truth: when you focus on becoming the best version of yourself, everything else, including relationships, naturally falls into place. Rule number 2: stop being emotionally dependent. One of the most powerful shifts you can make, especially in relationships, is breaking free from emotional dependence. In today's world, relying on others for validation, happiness, and security is often seen as normal. We look to partners, friends, or family to regulate our emotions. But here's the hard truth: depending on someone else for your emotional stability is a trap. It gives them power over your well-being and weakens your sense of self. To be a high-value man, to embrace true Stoic happiness, you must become the master of your own emotions. This doesn't mean being cold or detached. It means taking full responsibility for how you feel, no matter what anyone else says or does. Emotional independence equals true power. Think about it. Have you ever been in a situation where someone's mood completely dictated yours? Maybe your partner had a bad day and suddenly your entire day felt ruined. Or perhaps you felt an intense need for someone's attention, and when they didn't give it to you, your self-esteem took a hit. We've all been there. But it doesn't have to be this way. Instead of being at the mercy of others' emotions, what if you built the inner strength to remain steady, no matter the circumstances? A modern example of Stoicism in action. Take the case of a successful entrepreneur who constantly sought validation from his partner. When she was distant, he spiraled into doubt and anxiety, affecting his work, focus, and confidence. He didn't realize it at first, but his emotional state was entirely dependent on her reactions. It wasn't until he embraced Stoicism built on self-control and resilience that he recognized the real issue. The problem wasn't her, it was his reliance on her to feel whole. Once he mastered his emotions, he not only became more attractive to her, but he also regained his confidence and inner peace. That's the power of emotional independence. How to cultivate emotional strength? Now take a moment to reflect. Can you think of a time when you relied on someone else to feel happy or secure? How did it impact you? These moments reveal where we're giving away our power. When you let others dictate your emotions, you lose control over your own life. But when you become your own source of emotional stability, everything changes. People, especially women, are naturally drawn to those who are emotionally self-sufficient. Confidence, strength, and self-worth are magnetic. Women respect men who handle their emotions with grace and resilience, not because they're emotionless, but because they're unshaken by life's ups and downs. Practical steps to build emotional resilience. 1. Become aware of your emotional triggers. Notice when you're relying on someone else to feel good and consciously pull back. 2. Develop self-regulating habits. Journaling, meditation, working out, find practices that help you stay centered. 3. Pause before reacting. Instead of instantly responding to emotions, take a step back and process them. Over time, you'll realize that you no longer need anyone to fill your emotional gaps because you've filled them yourself. The core Stoic principle: own your emotion. By mastering your emotions, you don't just become a more attractive partner, you unlock a deeper sense of peace and confidence within yourself. The lesson here is simple but powerful. Be your own source of emotional stability. When you stop depending on others to regulate your feelings, you reclaim your power. You become stronger, more grounded, and far less vulnerable to the highs and lows of relationships. This is one of the core truths of Stoicism, and it will serve you in every area of life. Rule number 3. Stop seeking validation. Stop seeking validation. It sounds simple, yet mastering this one principle can completely transform your mindset and elevate you as a high-value man. Why is this so crucial? Because constantly seeking approval from others diminishes your power and keeps you from becoming the man you're meant to be. You don't need someone else to tell you that you're good enough, strong enough, or worthy of love. As Marcus Aurelius put it, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. So why let those thoughts be dictated by someone else's opinion of you? This is your life, your decisions. Your worth is valid because you say so, not because someone else approves. The confidence shift, owning your value. Imagine how different your interactions would be if you stopped relying on others to validate your choices or emotions. Instead of seeking external approval, you'd project natural confidence. You wouldn't need praise to feel secure. Your value would come from within. And that kind of self-assurance, it's magnetic. A high-value man doesn't ask for permission to feel good about himself. He already knows his worth. And that unshakable confidence effortlessly draws people to him. Do you let others control your self-worth? Ask yourself, how much power do I give to others to determine my value? Think about how often we check social media, waiting for likes or comments to validate us. But the truth is, no amount of external validation can define your self-worth. When you stop looking for approval, you take back control. You begin to operate from a place of self-assurance. And that's what separates high-value men from the rest. You stand tall, knowing you are enough as you are. The Stoic approach to feedback and criticism. Now, this doesn't mean you ignore feedback. Constructive criticism is valuable, but it should be a tool for growth, not a requirement for your self-esteem. As Epictetus wisely said, it is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. So, if someone criticizes you, don't let it shake your confidence. Instead, use it as an opportunity to improve, but never allow it to define your worth. Why self-validation is attractive. Men who don't seek validation stand out. Their quiet confidence speaks volumes. Women, in particular, are drawn to men who are secure in themselves. It signals strength and independence, qualities that define a high-value man. Think about it. Would you rather be with someone who constantly needs reassurance, or someone who stands firm in his identity, no matter what anyone else thinks? How to build this mindset. Remind yourself daily that your worth comes from within. Make decisions based on your values, not external approval. Stop waiting for permission. Act with confidence. Once you fully embody this mindset, you'll notice a shift. People will respect you more because you respect yourself. The power of self-validation in every area of life. Ask yourself, how would my life change if I stopped seeking validation? Would you approach relationships differently? Would you take bolder steps in your career? Would you feel more at peace with yourself? When you adopt this mindset, you're not just becoming more attractive, you're becoming a man who commands respect in all areas of life. This is the power of Stoicism. If this message resonates with you, drop a comment below or type, "I don't chase, I attract." Because this affirmation, it's more than just words, it's a way of life. Rule number 4, show that you don't depend on them. One of the most magnetic qualities you can develop in relationships is the ability to show that your happiness doesn't depend on anyone else. This is where the next rule of Stoic life lessons comes into play. Show that you don't depend on them. The great Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." In the same way, true wealth in relationships isn't about how much love you can receive, it's about how much you can give without losing yourself. The modern world often tells us that happiness comes from others, but a high-value man understands the power of being self-sufficient. When you demonstrate that your life is full, meaningful, and fulfilling, with or without someone by your side, you instantly stand out. But let's be clear, this isn't about being cold or distant. It's about having the confidence to live fully on your own terms. Emotional independence, a rare and attractive quality. Imagine walking through life with a deep sense of inner peace, unshaken by external circumstances. This is what Stoicism teaches. At its core, Stoicism is about mastering your emotions and understanding that true contentment comes from within. And this applies directly to relationships. When you show a woman that your happiness isn't dependent on her, she will respect you more because she realizes your emotional state is yours alone to control. A high-value man never sacrifices his inner peace for anyone, and that strength naturally attracts admiration and respect. Subtle signals of self-sufficiency. This isn't about ignoring or dismissing her. Instead, you're subtly signaling that while you value her presence, your happiness is something only you can cultivate. In today's world, where codependency is often romanticized, this mindset might seem counterintuitive, but true connection comes from two strong, independent individuals choosing to be together, not out of need, but out of genuine desire. And what is Stoicism if not a guide to mastering this balance in all areas of life, including love? How to show, not tell, your independence. Pursue your passions, build something meaningful outside of relationships, maintain strong friendships, show that your social world isn't centered around one person, prioritize your goals, be a man on a mission, always improving. Women are instinctively drawn to men who display this level of self-reliance. It signals maturity and emotional intelligence. When a woman sees that you have a life full of purpose, she will naturally want to be a part of it. The Stoic approach to love and relationships. This lesson isn't about indifference, it's about being grounded in who you are. The Stoics believed that true freedom comes from within, and this directly applies to how you navigate relationships. A high-value man doesn't let his sense of self be dictated by anyone's opinion or attention. This level of self-mastery makes him irresistible. Women respect men who don't seek approval but command admiration through their unshakable confidence. Reclaiming your power in a world obsessed with validation. In today's fast-paced, social media-driven world, it's easy to fall into the trap of seeking external validation, but the more you depend on others for happiness, the more power you give away. A high-value man takes that power back by mastering his emotions and living a full, purpose-driven life, regardless of who is in it. Don't let your world revolve around anyone but yourself. And when you live this way, the right people will naturally be drawn to you. If these insights resonate with you, hit like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments. Let's continue exploring the profound influence of Stoicism together. Rule number 5. Be ready to cut ties. There comes a time when you have to choose yourself. When someone treats you like you don't matter, whether they constantly ignore your needs, disrespect you, or take your time for granted, you need to be ready to walk away. This isn't about being cold or heartless, it's about protecting your inner peace and self-respect. Stoicism teaches us that while we cannot control how others treat us, we can control how we respond, and sometimes the strongest and most liberating response is to cut ties. Why walking away is a power move? Think of it this way. Life is full of opportunities to connect with people who truly see and appreciate your worth. But staying in relationships or friendships where you're mistreated, it blocks those opportunities. It sends the message to yourself and the world that you're willing to settle. Picture this. You're grinding hard, chasing your goals, putting in the work. But there's that one person, maybe a partner, a friend, or even a colleague, who constantly belittles your efforts. They brush off your successes, make snide remarks, and fail to support you in any meaningful way. You've been in a situation like this before, right? So ask yourself, why do you stay? Maybe it's fear of confrontation. Maybe it's the comfort of familiarity. But deep down, you know you deserve better. Cutting ties, try reclaiming your energy. When you let go of people who undervalue you, you create space for those who will uplift and inspire you. One day, you'll look back and realize that walking away wasn't a loss, it was a gain of self-respect, a gain of peace, a gain of stronger, healthier relationships. The truth about successful people. Ever notice how some of the most successful people don't hesitate to walk away from toxic relationships? The entrepreneur who finally ditched a toxic business partner and thrived. The friend who cut ties with energy drainers and found true support. What happened next? They succeeded because they refused to let someone else's lack of respect dictate their self-worth. Cutting ties, scarcity, self-respect. It's not just about removing negativity, it's about choosing yourself. By doing this, you send a powerful message. I deserve respect. I won't settle for less. I'm in control of my life. Yes, it's tough. Yes, it might hurt. But in the long run, you'll thank yourself for it. So now, ask yourself, are you ready to cut ties with someone who doesn't value you? Because the longer you hold on to people who diminish your worth, the less space you leave for those who will truly support your journey. Walking away isn't giving up, it's standing up for yourself. Your self-worth isn't up for negotiation. So if you're ready to embrace Stoic happiness, drop a comment below or type Stoic happiness to let us know you're on this journey with us. Your insights keep this community thriving, and together we'll continue to explore how Stoicism shapes our lives in powerful ways. Why giving space strengthens attraction? Ask yourself, do you feel like you're the one keeping the relationship alive? If so, it's time to reconsider how this one-sided effort might be affecting your connection. A high-value man with a Stoic mindset understands that true strength doesn't come from controlling a relationship, but from knowing when to let things breathe. When you give space, a few things happen. Checkmark. The other person gets time to reflect on your value. They miss your presence and realize what they could lose. They make an effort to reconnect if they truly care. Think about it. How often do people take things for granted when someone is always available and always chasing? That's why stepping back is so important. It reveals the truth about how much they actually value you. A Stoic man knows the power of restraint. At Wind, Stoic, we believe that high-value men understand the power of restraint. They don't chase, they attract. They know that creating desire requires space. Instead of constantly seeking validation, they observe how others respond. Marcus Aurelius, the legendary Stoic philosopher, once said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." If your mind is always consumed with how to keep the relationship going, you're missing out on the freedom that comes from letting things flow naturally. Control what you can. Let go of what you can't. A Stoic mindset teaches us to focus on what we can control, our actions, our responses, our boundaries. But what we can't control is how others react, how much effort they put in, whether they appreciate us. So take a step back and observe. Does the other person make an effort to meet you halfway, or do they fade away, revealing their lack of genuine interest? This isn't about walking away, it's about letting it grow. Giving space doesn't mean abandoning the relationship. It means allowing it to grow organically. A healthy relationship thrives when both people invest equally. So, are you ready to apply this Stoic principle to your own life? If you've been chasing, it's time to stop. Step back and let your values shine through. Those who truly care will naturally be drawn closer. What will you do next? The next time you feel the urge to overinvest, ask yourself, will you trust in your own worth and let things flow naturally? Or will you keep trying to force something that isn't meant to be? A high-value man doesn't chase, he attracts. Drop a comment below or type, "I trust in my value," if you're ready to apply this in your life. Rule number 7. Don't reveal how much you like her now. Let's dive into another game-changing Stoic principle, the power of mystery. Rule number 7. Don't reveal how much you like her too soon. Attraction thrives in mystery. When you overexpress your emotions too early, you risk diminishing their impact. Think about it. If you give away the ending of a movie right at the beginning, there's no suspense, no build-up, no reason for investment. It's the same in relationships. By holding back just a little, you create space for curiosity and anticipation. You give her a reason to wonder about you, think about you, and want more of you. Why restraint is powerful in attraction. A high-value man doesn't seek validation through over-disclosure. Instead, he masters the art of pacing. The great Stoic Epictetus taught that true wealth isn't in possessions but in needing less. The same applies here. Emotional self-sufficiency makes you far more attractive than someone who constantly craves reassurance. This isn't about playing games or being emotionally unavailable. It's about recognizing that your emotions are valuable. When you share them gradually instead of all at once, she appreciates them more. The art of attraction. Give just enough, but not everything. Too many men rush into relationships, spilling every thought and feeling only to lose themselves in the process. Stoicism teaches us the balance between expression and restraint, when to give and when to hold back. Give too much too soon, you lose mystery. Give too little, you seem distant. Find the balance. You create irresistible intrigue. As Seneca wisely observed, it is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, who is poor. When you crave validation by over-revealing your feelings, you create an emotional imbalance. But when you pace yourself, you build a relationship on mutual respect and desire. Mastering the timing of your emotions. Imagine the power of self-discipline and emotional restraint, a way to ignite desire without ever saying too much. This isn't about withholding affection forever. It's about revealing your emotions at the right time, in the right way, to maximize their impact. Instead of constantly pouring out your heart, send messages that are simple, meaningful. Just enough to make her curious and intrigued. When you communicate like this, she won't be able to help but think about you. This is the art of balance, a core principle of Stoicism in love and relationships. Elevate yourself, elevate your attraction. As we wrap up, remember, these 7 powerful principles aren't just about attraction. They're about becoming a man of purpose, confidence, irresistible charm. Apply these Stoic insights and you won't just attract women, you'll build deep, meaningful connections. 9 phrases. Smart men should never say to women. If you want to maintain respect and attraction, knowing what not to say is just as important as knowing what to say. The words you choose can either elevate your presence or subtly undermine your confidence. Have you ever caught yourself saying something you later regretted? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Let's learn together. Phrase number 1. Where shall we go? On the surface, this might seem like a polite and inclusive question, but in reality, it dilutes your leadership and decisiveness, 2 qualities that many women naturally find attractive. Why this phrase? Hurts your presence. From a young age, many women grow up with an image of a decisive, take-charge man, the modern version of the prince on a white horse. When you ask her where to go or what to do, you shift the burden of decision-making onto her shoulders. Instead of feeling cared for, she might feel like she has to lead the interaction, which can quickly diminish attraction. Marcus Aurelius, the legendary Stoic philosopher, once said, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be one." The message is clear: embody confidence and certainty instead of hesitating. What to say instead. Rather than asking her what she wants to do, tell her the plan you've already made. I've got us a table at this great spot I think you'll love. I got tickets to a movie tonight. Pick you up at 7. This kind of decisive action makes her feel valued and taken care of, reinforcing your role as someone who knows what he wants. This isn't about being controlling, it's about showing leadership while still being adaptable. If she has a strong preference, she'll let you know and you can adjust accordingly. Why decisiveness is attractive. In today's fast-paced world, women juggle careers, responsibilities, and personal goals. The last thing they want is a man who adds more uncertainty to their lives. A man who is confident and takes the lead offers something rare: stability in a chaotic world. When you're confident in your choices, whether in relationships, work, or life, you radiate the stoic calm that men like Marcus Aurelius and Seneca wrote about centuries ago. It's the hallmark of emotional resilience and the ability to navigate life without letting indecision weaken your presence. The Stoic principle of leadership. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what we can control, and one thing you can always control is your ability to lead. Epictetus wisely said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." This means you should value her input but still lead with purpose. The balance between decisiveness and awareness is what separates a high-value man from someone who lets life happen to him. The bottom line: stop asking, "Where shall we go?" Start leading with confidence. By doing so, you'll not only increase her attraction and admiration, but also embody the Stoic virtues of strength and courage. Now let's move on to the next phrase men should avoid. Phrase number 2. It's up to you. At first glance, saying "it's up to you" might seem polite, like you're giving her the freedom to decide, but in reality, it can come across as indecisive and passive, which is the opposite of what high-value men project. Think about it. When you defer every decision to her, it sends a message that you either lack confidence in making choices, don't care enough to lead the situation. While it's completely okay to ask for her opinion, there's a right way to do it, one that still shows leadership and intention. The right approach: lead with initiative. Instead of saying "it's up to you," try something more assertive, like, "I heard about a new ice rink that just opened. I'm planning to check it out this Saturday. Want to join me?" Notice the difference? You've already made a decision, you've taken initiative, you're inviting her into your world. This keeps the dynamic strong because it shows that you're a man with direction and purpose. It's not about controlling everything. It's about leading in a way that makes her feel secure and valued. A real-life story. Why this works. Let me tell you about my friend Jack. Jack was a smart, kind guy, but whenever he made plans with his girlfriend, he always said, "Whatever you want." He thought he was being considerate, but instead, she started to feel like he wasn't invested in their relationship. One day, when they were planning a trip, he kept saying, "It's up to you." It frustrated her because it felt like he wasn't excited about spending time together. Over time, she started pulling away because she didn't feel that sense of shared purpose. Finally, Jack changed his approach. Instead of deferring decisions, he started saying things like, "I found a cool cabin by the lake. We should go for the weekend. I think you'll love it." And just like that, their dynamic improved. She felt more secure, he felt more confident, and their relationship became more fulfilling. The Stoic perspective. Why decisiveness matters. People respect decisiveness because it shows strength of character. As a Stoic, inner strength means owning your choices while remaining adaptable. Confidence in your decisions creates attraction, stability, and admiration. Marcus Aurelius once said, "A man's worth is no greater than his ambitions." When you take ownership of your decisions, you project confidence, and confidence is magnetic. Challenge yourself. Are you truly leading? How often do you defer decisions to others, thinking it's the polite thing to do? What message do you think that sends about your confidence and leadership? The answer is clear. High-value men don't hesitate. They make decisions communicate them with clarity, and invite others to join them. If you're committed to stepping into your full potential, drop a comment below. I am a high-value man. When I want you works like magic. Imagine this. You're both caught in the heat of the moment, the tension is building, and there's already an undeniable spark. Whispering, I want you, in that instant heightens the connection and fuels the passion. Or maybe she sends you a teasing, intimate photo while you're apart. A simple, confident I want you can keep the chemistry alive, making her feel desired and connected to you even from a distance. Key lesson: timing and context are everything. Used at the right moment, this phrase can deepen intimacy and attraction, but misused, it can do the exact opposite. When I want you backfires. A high-value man, a man who embodies Stoic wisdom and self-mastery, knows when not to use this phrase. 1. When there's emotional distance. If the relationship is strained or she's been pulling away, throwing out I want you might come across as desperate instead of attractive. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The more we value things outside our control, the less control we have." If she's avoiding intimacy, saying this won't magically change her mind. Instead, it may push her further away because women are deeply intuitive. They can sense when a man is seeking validation rather than expressing genuine desire. 2. Too early in a relationship. Imagine you're on a first date, and before you've even established an emotional or physical connection, you say, I want you. What message does that send? It can come across as overly eager, lacking patience and self-control, purely physical without an emotional foundation, lacking confidence because attraction builds naturally, not through words alone. Epictetus wisely said, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." A high-value man exercises restraint. He understands the art of building anticipation rather than rushing into things. The right time to say. It only use I want you when the attraction is already there, when you're both emotionally and physically in sync. That's when this phrase becomes a catalyst for deeper passion, not a forced attempt to create a moment. A confident, self-assured man understands that true attraction can't be forced, it must be cultivated. By holding back and choosing your words wisely, you project confidence, patience, and self-mastery, qualities that women find irresistible. Drop a comment below. I am confident and patient if you're committed to being a high-value man. Phrase number 4, did you finish? A high-value man understands that communication is not just about words, it's about what those words imply. Why this phrase can be a mistake. Asking, did you finish, can make a woman feel like her pleasure was an afterthought rather than a shared experience. It introduces doubt. She might start wondering, why is he asking? Is he rushing? Is he not paying attention to me? Marcus Aurelius once said, the art of living is more like wrestling than dancing. This means that presence and awareness are key, not just in life, but in every interaction, especially intimate moments. Why did you finish can be a mistake. This phrase doesn't just introduce doubt, it also places unnecessary pressure on her, which can make the experience feel transactional rather than deeply connected. A high-value man understands that true intimacy is about presence, not performance. Instead of focusing on the end result, shift your attention to enjoying the moment itself. This reflects Stoic wisdom, patience, self-mastery, and the ability to control your own mind. Resisting the urge to hastily seek closure allows you to fully savor the experience, making it more meaningful for both of you. The power of patience and presence. We live in a fast-paced world filled with distractions. Our attention spans are shrinking, and impatience has become the norm. But a high-value man, one who embodies Stoic principles, knows that the most fulfilling experiences come from being fully immersed in the present moment. Stoic lesson: detach from the outcome and focus on the process. Just as the Stoics teach us to find peace in the journey rather than obsess over results, the same applies here. By asking, "Did you finish?" you may unintentionally show a lack of awareness of her emotions and your own self-control. Indicate that you're more focused on results than the connection itself. Break the flow of intimacy by shifting the focus to an expectation rather than the shared experience. A Stoic man practices self-restraint in both speech and action. He doesn't rush to the finish line, especially in moments that require emotional depth. Instead, he values the process, understanding that true fulfillment comes from the experience itself, not just the conclusion. A wise man once said, "True power lies in restraint, not haste." This principle doesn't just apply to intimate moments. It extends to all areas of life. The ability to be patient, to listen, and to engage fully and attentively is what sets high-value men apart from those who are easily swayed by fleeting desires. Mastering emotional and physical presence. Modern life pushes us to speed through everything: work, relationships, even personal growth. But true fulfillment isn't found in how fast you achieve something. It's found in the depth of your experience along the way. So next time you're tempted to ask, "Did you finish?" pause. Take a breath. Remind yourself of the Stoic lesson that true mastery comes from patience, presence, and a deep understanding of the moment. This is where high-value men distinguish themselves, by being attuned, by prioritizing connection over performance, and by understanding that their role is not just about results, but about creating a shared, meaningful experience. If this insight resonates with you, drop a comment below. I embody patience and presence. Phrase number 5. I missed you. In relationships, the way you communicate directly impacts how you're perceived. And for a high-value man, it's essential to project strength, confidence, and emotional control, all key pillars of Stoic philosophy. At first glance, saying "I missed you" might seem affectionate, but here's why it can backfire. Women often use phrases like "I missed you" or "I don't know what to do" because they naturally express vulnerability, which invites a man to step up, offer support, and provide a sense of security. However, when a man frequently uses these phrases, it can unintentionally signal emotional dependency and diminish the attraction a woman feels for him. It can make a man appear too emotionally reliant on her validation, lacking personal fulfillment outside of the relationship, more childlike than masculine, as if he needs constant reassurance. No woman wants to feel like she's stepping into a motherly role in a relationship. How a high-value man expresses emotion without losing attraction. Being Stoic doesn't mean being emotionally detached. It means channeling your emotions with strength and clarity. If a woman asks, "Did you miss me?" a simple, straightforward response like, "Yeah, I did." Confident, direct, and assured. But if you respond with, "I missed you so much, I was miserable without you," this can come across as overly needy and dependent. The lesson: a high-value man communicates emotion without seeking validation. He doesn't need to overexpress longing or sadness. His presence alone speaks for him. Emotional independence, the key to attraction. Women, especially those seeking strong, reliable partners, are naturally drawn to men who exude calm, control, and a sense of purpose. They want someone they can lean on, not someone who leans too heavily on them. Let's take a real-life example. A friend of mine, Tom, was dating a woman he truly cared about. Everything was going great until they spent a few weeks apart. During that time, he found himself constantly texting her, about how much he missed her. Every few hours he sent the same message. At first, she responded warmly, but soon she started pulling away. Confused, Tom finally asked her what had changed. She admitted, "It feels like you can't function without me. It's overwhelming." Tom thought he was being honest and affectionate, but in reality, his behavior made it seem like he was placing emotional responsibility on her. Instead of making her feel cherished, it made her feel burdened. The lesson: emotional dependence can be a turn-off. Even when it comes from a place of genuine love, constantly seeking reassurance can push people away. So, what should you do instead? Before saying something, ask yourself, am I expressing genuine feelings, or am I seeking validation? A high-value man understands that emotional independence is a cornerstone of attraction and self-mastery. He doesn't rely on others to fill his emotional void. Instead, he maintains a strong sense of self-sufficiency and confidence even in their absence. This is where Stoic wisdom plays a vital role. Stoicism teaches us to manage our desires and expectations in a healthy way, ensuring that we control our emotions rather than letting them control us. How to maintain attraction without losing emotional depth. Instead of saying, "I miss you so much, I don't feel the same without you," try this: "I'm looking forward to seeing you." This expresses your feelings without sounding needy. It shows that you value her presence, but your happiness doesn't depend on it. Instead of saying, "I don't know what I'd do without you," try this: "Life's great, and it's even better when you're around." This communicates appreciation without dependence. The key to attraction: strength and emotional stability. Women aren't just drawn to physical strength, they are deeply attracted to emotional strength. A man who is secure within himself, who chooses to be with a woman because she adds value to his life, not because he needs her to feel whole, is infinitely more attractive. That's the foundation of Stoic happiness in relationships: independence, balanced with a shared journey. Do you agree with this perspective? Comment, "I agree," if you do, or "I don't think so," if you see it differently. Phrase number 6. Sorry, when it's not necessary. A simple word, yet one that can subtly weaken your position if overused. Apologizing unnecessarily, especially for things that aren't your fault, can make you seem less confident and less self-assured. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." A high-value man stands firm in his truth. He doesn't over-apologize to seek approval or avoid conflict. Instead, he reserves apologies for moments when he genuinely makes a mistake, and when he does, he says it once and moves forward. Why over-apologizing can hurt you. If you've already apologized for something and your partner keeps bringing it up, beware. This can sometimes be a way to manipulate your guilt and shift the power dynamic in the relationship. Imagine this scenario. She says, "Do you remember how you called me dumb last year?" Even though you've already apologized 10 times, she brings it up again. How do you usually respond? Many men fall into the trap of saying, "I'm really sorry again. I didn't mean it." This reinforces the cycle, making you look weaker each time. Instead, try this. Check mark. We've already discussed this. Let's not dwell on the past. This response acknowledges her feelings but sets a clear boundary. By handling the situation this way, you're demonstrating emotional maturity and self-respect, two key components of the Stoic mindset. Stoic wisdom: control what you can, let go of what you can't. The past can't be changed, but what you can control is how you react to it. A high-value man doesn't live in a state of perpetual guilt. He takes responsibility when necessary, but doesn't let his past mistakes define him. Emotional mastery and the power of boundaries. Do you see how this aligns with your values as a high-value man, helping you stay grounded and composed even in tough situations? A man who follows the Stoic mindset understands how easily guilt can be used to destabilize his emotions. When misplaced, guilt is like a heavy chain anchoring you to the past, preventing you from moving forward with clarity. Seneca once said, "He who is brave is free." Being brave in your relationship means standing firm in your truth, facing conflict without letting manipulative tactics sway your emotions. That doesn't mean being cold or dismissive. It means being fair but firm, addressing issues in the present without allowing your partner to keep digging up the past as a weapon. Are you stuck in the cycle of over-apologizing? Ask yourself this. How many times have you apologized for something you've already discussed just to keep the peace? Did it actually resolve the issue, or did it lead to more resentment and a power imbalance? When you over-apologize, you shift the relationship dynamic, putting yourself in a position where your actions are constantly questioned. High-value men don't let guilt dictate their decisions. They take responsibility when necessary, but also know when enough is enough. Stoicism in relationships. It's not about winning, it's about mastery. A Stoic mindset isn't about winning arguments or proving yourself right. It's about mastering your emotions and not letting them control you. So, the next time you're tempted to apologize for something you've already addressed, remember, one sincere apology is enough. Beyond that, you're just feeding into a cycle that does more harm than good. Stay grounded, stay firm. Remember what it means to be a high-value man. Your next move, stand firm or give in. Will you let guilt dictate your responses, or will you stand firm in your self-worth, setting boundaries that reflect your values? Let's discuss. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If this insight resonated with you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share as we continue exploring the power of Stoicism in everyday life. Phrase number 7, I've never met someone like you before. When it comes to mastering the art of communication with women, there's a fine line between a sincere compliment and a statement that unintentionally lowers your value. Today, we're diving into a critical lesson, one that most men overlook. As Epictetus wisely said, we have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak. This Stoic principle reminds us that thoughtful, intentional communication is key, especially when building a meaningful connection. Let's talk about a phrase high-value men should avoid. I've never met someone like you before. It might seem like an innocent, even flattering compliment. But here's why you should think twice before saying it. Why this phrase can backfire. At first glance, telling a woman she's unlike anyone you've ever met might seem like a heartfelt way to show admiration. But in reality, it can raise unspoken questions in her mind. Who have you been with before? Why are you so amazed? Are you exaggerating? Have your standards been low until now? Instead of making her feel special, you might make her wonder if your past experiences were shallow, or if you're simply saying what she wants to hear. The power of balanced compliments. High-value men don't rely on exaggeration to impress a woman. Instead, they practice the Stoic principle of moderation, finding a balance between admiration and self-respect. For example, instead of, I've never met anyone like you before, say, I really enjoy your perspective on things, it's refreshing. Instead of, you're the most beautiful woman I've ever seen, say, that dress really brings out your confidence, it looks great on you. Notice the difference? The second approach feels genuine, specific, and grounded. Final takeaway, stay authentic, stay balanced. Stoicism teaches us to value truth over flattery, avoid over-the-top statements that sound rehearsed, express admiration in a way that keeps you on equal footing. Next time you want to genuinely compliment someone, Choose words that reflect confidence, presence, and emotional intelligence, hallmarks of a high-value man. Mastering the art of compliments, confidence over validation. Saying something like, "I've never met a woman with such elegant taste and a gorgeous figure. I'm lucky you agreed to date me," might seem like a charming compliment, but let's break it down. In this statement, you elevate her status so much that you lower your own. Suddenly she's the queen, and you're just grateful to be in her presence. High-value men don't seek validation in this way. A Stoic man remains composed and confident, ensuring that his words don't tip the balance too far in either direction. The power of balanced communication. One of the core principles of Stoicism is having control over your emotions and reactions, and this extends to how you communicate in relationships. Compliments are great, but overdoing them can backfire. Constantly showering a woman with praise might make your attention seem overwhelming or even insincere. There's a fine line between showing admiration and appearing needy or obsessed. Many mistake obsession for love, but true emotional resilience comes from balance, not dependence. Why moderation is key. Think of it like this. If you praise too much, it can feel suffocating or desperate. If you praise too little, it can seem cold or indifferent. The right approach? Genuine, well-timed compliments that show awareness, not desperation. Rather than using grand, pedestal-like statements, a high-value man expresses admiration with confidence and without making himself seem lesser. Instead of, "I'm lucky you agreed to date me," say, "I enjoy spending time with you. You have a great sense of style." Instead of, "I've never met anyone like you," say, "I really admire the way you think. It's refreshing." Notice the difference? One shows admiration, the other seeks approval. Final takeaway. Stay grounded and confident. Before giving a compliment, ask yourself, am I expressing genuine appreciation or am I trying to win approval? High-value men know that words can either build or erode their standing in a relationship. Confidence isn't about withholding admiration, it's about expressing it in a way that reflects self-assurance. Stay grounded, stay confident, and remember, true love and respect are built on balance, not blind admiration. Drop a comment below, share your experiences, or simply type Stoic happiness to let us know you're on this journey with us. Let's continue to explore how Stoicism shapes our lives in meaningful ways. Phrase number 8, how was your day? The hidden pitfall. At first glance, how was your day seems like a thoughtful, caring question, and when asked with intention, it can create a moment of connection. However, when repeated daily without real curiosity or depth, it loses its impact. Why this question can feel empty. Imagine coming home after a long day only to hear the same generic question every single evening. At first, you might answer normally, but over time it starts to feel predictable, robotic, and uninspired. Eventually, it becomes background noise, a habit rather than a genuine effort to connect. High-value men understand that true connection comes from meaningful engagement, not routine pleasantries. The problem with repetitive small talk. This question can be especially frustrating when your partner is feeling emotionally distant and you're just filling silence instead of bridging the gap. It feels more like a checklist task than a sincere inquiry. You expect her to carry the conversation instead of leading with engaging topics. If the energy in your relationship feels off, repeating, "How was your day?" won't bring it back to life. In fact, it might do the opposite, highlight the lack of real engagement. A better approach, show that you're present. Instead of defaulting to dull, repetitive questions, challenge yourself to ask something meaningful. Examples of engaging questions. What was the most interesting part of your day? I remember you had that big meeting today. How did it go? What's something that made you smile today? See the difference? These show awareness and create real conversation rather than feeling like a scripted habit. High-value men don't just go through the motions, they pay attention. Final thought: build deeper connection through awareness. Before you ask, "How was your day?" ask yourself, "Am I genuinely curious or just trying to fill space?" Does this question make her feel seen, or does it feel like autopilot? A man with a Stoic mindset understands that connection isn't about saying the right words. It's about presence, awareness, and meaningful engagement. The power of intentional conversations. For a long time, he would ask her, "How was your day?" A well-meaning but surface-level question. It wasn't until he noticed her excitement about a specific project that he changed his approach. Instead of sticking to the generic script, he started asking deeper, more engaging questions. What's been the most exciting part of your project this week? What challenge are you working through right now? What's something that made you feel really proud today? This small shift completely changed their dynamic. She felt seen, understood, and valued, something every person craves in a relationship. This is where Stoicism today reminds us of the importance of being mindful and intentional in our actions. The words you choose in a conversation aren't just words. They either add value to your connection or create distance. Upgrade your communication. From routine to meaningful. Next time you're tempted to ask, "How was your day?" take a pause. Instead, ask yourself, what can I say that will lead to a meaningful exchange? How can I create a moment of genuine connection rather than just filling the silence? A high-value man understands that life is too short for shallow interactions. He strives to create conversations that are deliberate, thoughtful, and present. The lesson is simple: don't fall into conversational autopilot. Keep it fresh, keep it intentional, and remember, sometimes silence is better than an empty question. So, what's one powerful question you could ask today that would bring you closer to her? "I'll pay for everything." A hidden trap? Saying, "I'll pay for everything" might seem like a noble gesture. But whether it's a first date or a long-term relationship, it's important to tread carefully. At the beginning of a romance, both people are still exploring boundaries. If you cover all expenses right away, you might unknowingly set a precedent, one where she sees you as a provider rather than an equal partner. Over time, this dynamic can shift from being a generous act to an unspoken expectation. And when that happens, something dangerous can occur. She stops appreciating your generosity. She starts taking your financial support for granted. She assumes it's just the way things are supposed to be. When generosity becomes a burden. There's a well-known story of a woman who blamed her boyfriend for ruining her chances of building a career, all because he always paid for everything. What started as an act of love turned into dependency. Instead of empowering her, it left her feeling like she had no role in her financial future. So, does this mean that if you earn more, you should split everything 50-50? Not necessarily. The key is balance and contribution from both sides. Even if you earn 5 times more than her, she should still contribute in some way, even if it's proportionate to her income. For example, if you spend $5, maybe she spends $1. If you cover dinners, maybe she handles movie tickets or coffee. It's not about splitting everything evenly, it's about ensuring both partners invest in the relationship in ways that matter. The Stoic approach to financial balance. A Stoic mindset teaches us that true wealth isn't just about having more, it's about wanting less and living in balance. High-value men understand that a healthy relationship is built on mutual respect, shared responsibility, empowerment over dependence. As Epictetus once said, wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. If you're always footing the bill, it's not just about money, it's about the dynamic you're creating, one where one person is always giving and the other is always receiving. Over time, this imbalance can lead to resentment from you, entitlement from her, a loss of autonomy for both of you. Is that truly what you want, or would you rather be with a woman who values you for who you are, not just for what you provide? The key question: what kind of relationship are you building? Before saying, "I'll pay for everything," ask yourself, am I unknowingly encouraging her to rely on me financially? Am I fostering a partnership based on respect or dependence? Am I leading with generosity, or am I setting myself up for imbalance? Your worth goes beyond your wallet. A truly fulfilling relationship isn't built on what you can provide, it's built on who you are. You deserve a partner who values you for your character, your presence, and your mindset, not just your financial support. And she deserves the opportunity to stand on her own 2 feet, growing alongside you, not leaning on you. As we wrap up this video, remember, the way we communicate shapes the quality of our relationships. The phrases we've explored today highlight how small shifts in language can make a huge difference in how we connect with others. Smart men understand that being intentional with their words fosters stronger, healthier, and more balanced relationships. By applying these principles, you're not just avoiding misunderstandings, you're actively creating a dynamic where both partners feel valued and respected. Now I want to hear from you. What phrases do you think men should avoid in relationships? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you found this video insightful, don't forget to like this video, share it with someone who needs to hear this, subscribe for more content that empowers you on your journey of growth and happiness. See you in the next one. Blast off.